Abstain from fleshly lusts,
which do what?
which war against the soul.
Which war against the soul. For those who are real with themselves and honest, you know exactly what that's talking about. You're trying to get to that next level. You're trying to strive for greatness, overcome, but then here comes that pesky demon that you've been battling with, and you stumble, and now you're off. You can either be strong in the Lord and cast out these demons, or you could be weak in faith and let the demon ruin you. So today's topic, our focus, we're going to talk about lust, and we're going to talk about demonic possession. Lust and demonic possession. Believe it or not, they go hand in hand, all right? So who's reading?
Officer James.
Officer James. Let's give it up for Officer James. All right, T. All right, all praise to the Father. So we're about to get into it, y'all. We're going over lust and demonic possession. We're going to start in the book of 1 Corinthians. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Okay. As a matter of fact, before we get there, let's go to the book of Romans chapter 7 and verse 8. I want to start here, all right? Pull up a definition, IT. Give me the definition of concupiscence. All right, watch this. Give me Romans 7 and 8. Watch this, y'all.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 8.
Come on.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence.
So the Apostle Paul, the author of Romans, now some will say otherwise. Go to Romans 16. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go here, but I have to because of what I just said. Go to Romans chapter 16, verse 22. Watch this.
Romans chapter 16, verse 22.
Come on.
I, Tertullius, who wrote the epistle, salute you in the Lord.
Right, because it says Tertullius actually wrote the epistle. Now, mind you, he did it after the inspiration of what Paul was saying, similar to what Baruch did for Jeremiah. You understand? As a scribe, he wrote the actual epistle. Wow. All right, so go back to Romans 7 and 8. Watch this, y'all.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 8.
Come on.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence.
All manner of what?
Concupiscence.
So Paul said sin, which is the transgression of God's commandments, all right, his sin was concupiscence. What was Paul doing? He was applying the scripture, confessing his fault. All right, he was being real with himself.
That's right.
He wasn't living a lie, acting as if he didn't deal with anything. He was keeping it 100 with us and himself. Why? Give me that in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 6. All right, this is what Paul was doing. Watch this, y'all.
The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool.
Right. So Paul said, I would desire to glory. Why? Because he had all manner of prophecy, revelation given to him. Why? He was taught by Christ. All right. So when it came to his understanding, he was on a different level. All right. And men would praise him for his knowledge and his understanding. So read that for me.
For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool.
Come on.
For I will say the truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be.
Right. Paul didn't want men to think of him too highly than what he was. He was a man just like the rest of us. Although his understanding, his knowledge, he was a chosen vessel, like I said in Acts 9. But Paul still didn't want to be seen higher than what he was. All right, come on.
or that he heareth of me,
Come on.
and lest I should be exalted above measure.
All right, being exalted above measure. Come on.
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh.
So it was given to Paul a thorn in the flesh. What was his thorn in the flesh? Let's go back to Romans chapter 7, verse 8. Watch this, y'all.
Romans chapter 7 and verse 8.
Come on.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence.
Right. So wrought in Paul all manner of concupiscence. IT, pull that definition for us. What is concupiscence? What is that? All right. Blow it up, please. Make it bigger. All right. Let's read and find out what concupiscence is.
Concupiscence, strong sexual desire, lust.
Strong sexual desire, lust. Wow. So it's saying that Paul dealt with sexual lust. Now, mind you, when it comes to sexual lust, there's all types of different sexual lust. How do we know? When we read the book of Leviticus, the 18th chapter, which lists all of the different types of fornication, whether it be adultery, whether it be same sex, whether it be bestiality. There is a vast variety, okay, when it comes to sexual lust. All right, he said all manner of concupiscence. So we don't know, it's not in the Bible, but we do know that the forefather did deal with lust, okay? Do me a favor, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13.
Come on.
There have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
So what is Paul telling us? He's telling us that everything that we deal with, all right, mainly different lusts. That's what we're going in today. So it says anything that we go through, come on.
But God is faithful.
Read it again.
There have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man.
Right, but such as is common to man, the lust that's common to man. Why did we go to Romans 7? Why did we go to 2 Corinthians 12? Because Paul made it plain. He's let us know as the audience what he was going through. Why? So he can encourage us. All right, so he can let us know that through his fight, okay, we have a chance as well. Watch this. I got another one that just came up. Go to Galatians, okay? Galatians 4, I believe. Let me get there with you. Okay. Galatians chapter 4, and give me verse 12. Watch this.
The book of Galatians, chapter 4 and verse 12.
Watch this.
Brethren, I beseech you, be as I am, for I am as ye are. Ye have not injured me at all.
Watch this.
Ye know how through infirmity of the flesh.
Through what?
Infirmity of the flesh.
Come on.
I preached the gospel unto you at the first.
Uh-huh.
And my temptation, which was in my flesh, ye despise not.
Right, ye despise not. Why? Because he kept it real. You understand? He let it be known what he dealt with. Come on.
You know that's right.
Nor rejected, but received me as an angel of God.
Right, he's still a leader, okay? But he's letting you know not to exalt him above measure, okay? He's still an angel of the Lord. All right, from there, let's go back to 1 Corinthians 10 and 13.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with that temptation also make a way to escape.
Right, with that temptation, the Lord will give you a way to escape. All right, to escape. There's always a way, and that way is in these holy scriptures. All right, that's how we escape. All right, by studying, application, keeping busy. You know, we went over classes before over these things. This today's class is a little bit different. All right, so I'm not going to jump the gun on this one. Let's drop that. Let's go to Hebrews. Let's go to Hebrews, the 2nd chapter. Okay. All right. So Paul let us know, you know, that he dealt with evil concupiscence, all manner of concupiscence. All right. Let's go to Hebrews 2 and let's get verse 13. Watch this.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 2 and verse 13.
Come on.
And again I will put my trust in him. And again, behold, I am the children which God hath given me. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same.
Who's the he? The he is Christ, the Messiah, Jesus the Christ. It's saying that Paul said he's going to put his trust in Messiah. And then in verse 14, it says, for as much then as the children are partakers, that's us, of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same. Okay, let's read on. Watch this.
That through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is, the devil.
Come on.
And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
Right, all of our lifetime subject unto bondage. The them right here is the nation of Israel. Verse 16.
For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham.
Right, because you have the Christian church say that Christ, when he was on earth, he was in godlike form. No, he wasn't. He was in human form. Give me that in verse 7. Watch this to back it up.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 7.
Come on.
Though thou madest him a little lower than the angels, thou crownest him with glory and honor, and didst set him over the works of thy hands.
Right, so he was made lower than the angels. And mind you, when you read up in Hebrews, Christ is the Son of God. He's the chief angel. He had a better name than all of them. Okay, and then jump down to verse 9. Watch this.
Verse 9. But we see Jesus, who was made a little lower than the angels.
Right, it says, but we see Jesus, meaning what? In his human form. Okay, in his flesh and blood, his carnal form. Come on.
For the suffering of death, crowned with glory and honor, that he by the grace of God should taste death for every man.
Right. Think about it. If he didn't come in flesh and blood, if he didn't come in human form, he wouldn't have been able to die. You have to understand that thing. He wouldn't have been able to die. So we understand that Christ had to come down to our realm on our level and live and experience things just like us. So read 15 and 16 together. Watch this.
Verse 15. And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
Come on.
For verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham.
Right. He came out of the same lineage as Israel, the Israelites, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Come on.
Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people.
Give me that, what's that, Deuteronomy 18. Start at 15. Just, for those who are new, to show you this is what Moses prophesied about. Because in verse 17 it says, it pleased him to be made like unto his brethren. All right, read that for me.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15.
Come on.
The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee.
From the midst of thee. Who's he speaking to? The nation of Israel. All right, come on.
Of thy brethren.
Of thy what?
Of thy brethren.
Of thy brethren. So let's go back to Hebrews 2 and let's read 17. Come on.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17. Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren.
Come on.
That he might be a merciful and faithful high priest.
Right, so he'd be a merciful. The reason why he's so merciful, why? Because he's experienced the same things that we've experienced. All of the lust that we've gone through, Christ felt the exact same thing, brothers and sisters. All right, read that again.
Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest.
Come on.
In things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people.
Hey, give me chapter 4, verse 15 to go with this, because I'm focused on the mercy right now. Verse 17, it said that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest. All right, watch this, Hebrews 4 and 15.
Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15.
Watch this.
For we have not an high priest, which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities.
Right. It's saying that Christ, hey, we don't serve him. We don't serve a Messiah that doesn't know what we've gone through. All right. Who can't relate to what we go through on a day to day. Message. Okay. Obviously, we serve his Father in the name of his Son, Jesus the Christ. All right. But we have to understand. I'll just leave it at that. Read that again for me.
For we have not an high priest, which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities.
Come on.
But was in all points tempted like as we are.
There you are. Tempted with what? Lust. tempted with different desires, just like we are.
Every day.
Every day, every day. All right, so let's go back to Hebrews 2:17. Watch this.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 17.
Come on.
Wherefore, in all things, it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in things pertaining to God, to make reconciliation for the sins of the people. For in that he himself has suffered being tempted.
Being what?
Being tempted.
Being tempted. Come on.
He is able to succor them that are tempted.
Right, so he's able to help, okay? Help us, encourage us that go through the same temptations that he has experienced.
That's right.
All right, from there, let's go to 2 Corinthians. So today we're going over lust. We're going to go over demonic possession. All of that today, all right? So give me 2 Corinthians, what I call 6? Yeah, give me 6 and verse 1. Watch this.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1. We then, as workers together with him.
With him, Christ, all right, as us working together with Christ, come on.
Beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of God in vain.
Right, we got to understand and understand that we shouldn't take the Lord's mercy in vain. Just because the Lord don't kill you immediately, that does not now give you a license to sin. Give me, you know what I want, Ecclesiastes 8. All right, so it said don't take it in vain. What Christ came and did, what he experienced, you understand? We should not take that in vain, brothers and sisters, all right? Read that for me.
The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11.
Come on.
Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Right, the hearts of the Son of Man is fully set in them to do evil. And give us that in Mark 7:21 to list all of the evil thoughts, all of the evil capabilities that each and every one of us possess. Remember, Paul shared that he went through the same thing, but although he's able to do more work than all the other apostles that came before him, his knowledge, his spirit was more fervent than all of them, but he still let us know what his mind, his heart was capable of. All right, read that, Mark 7:21.
The book of Mark chapter 7 and verse 21.
Come on.
For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications,
Come on.
murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man.
So it says all of these evil things come from within. Why? Because that's how we were made. That's that wicked, that grain of evil seed that was sown in Adam from the beginning. Give me that real quick.
Have mercy.
2 Ezra 4. All right, give me that. 2 Ezra chapter 4 and 30. Watch this.
The book of 2 Esdras, chapter 4 and verse 30.
Come on.
For the grain of evil seed hath been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much ungodliness hath it brought up unto this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come?
Come on.
Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed hath brought forth.
So we understand what is in us. That's what it's talking about. That grain of evil seed talked about the adultery, the lasciviousness, the murder, the hatred. All of that is in us. If you ever hear somebody say, I'm not capable of this. Oh, you know me. That's not me. You know you're dealing with a liar. I'm going to tell you straight up. You know you're dealing with somebody that's lying to your face. The Bible tells us what we're capable of. If you convince yourself that you're not capable of committing these acts, Satan has already got you. Satan has already got you in his trick bag. All right, so brothers and sisters, be mindful. Let's go back to 2 Corinthians 6 and 1. Watch this, y'all.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 1.
Come on.
We then as workers together with him beseech you also that ye receive not the grace of God in vain. For he saith, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I succored thee. Behold, now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation.
Come on.
Give no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed.
All right, so we got to focus. We got to meditate on this. It says, don't give offense in anything. Why? Because like it also says in Corinthians, give me the one ambassadors. Is it 4? Give me that one. Find that for me. We're ambassadors of Christ. We are the exemplification of righteousness on this earth. All right, brothers and sisters. So we got to make sure that we're holding ourselves to a particular standard.
And you know that's right.
Okay, we're going to battle, but we got to keep grinding. Okay, we got to keep grinding, and we got to overcome these things. All right, Paul is telling us, hey, he let it be known. He battled, but he's not letting it overcome him. Okay, he talked about it in Romans 7, and we're going to go back to that. Y'all found that for me?
Yes, sir.
All right, read that.
2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 20.
Come on.
Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ.
It says we are ambassadors for Christ. Give me the definition of ambassador. What does an ambassador do? Okay, what does an ambassador do? You know, think about when it comes to this country, the U.S. ambassador. They go to different countries and do what? All right, pull up that definition for us. Watch this.
Ambassador, an accredited diplomat sent by a country as its official representative to a foreign country.
There you go. As its official representatives. Who do we represent? The Most High God. That's who we represent. So going back to 2 Corinthians 6:3, let's read that again. Watch this.
2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 3.
Come on.
Giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed.
So this is what we got to meditate. It's not for us. Give me the one in was it Sirach 33 and 17? All right. When you first come in, you know, you don't have rank, okay? Speaking to the men. There's a reason for that. There's things that you got to get under wraps. You got to learn, okay? You got to learn how to get control, learn the basics, what you should focus on, examining yourselves. As you grow up in the ranks and the tenure, okay, more is going to be required and expected from you. Okay, obviously, who speaks for IUIC? The bishops and the deacons, right? Why? Because they've been around for so long and learned how to exercise the difference between good and evil. Give me that. I forgot what I told you to hold. What has you have you hold?
Sirach 33.
Hold that, and then give me the one in Hebrews 5, okay? Because they had so many years to exercise righteousness, get those repetitions. All right, so they're on a different level. So that's why they're in those positions. That's why you should never rush. Don't rush the process. Be thankful every step of the way. Be thankful every step of the way, because when you do get there, you don't want to get there too early. Then you do what? Offend when it's your time, right? Read that for me, please.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 5 and verse 12.
Come on.
For when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again.
Come on.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of God.
Jump down to verse 14.
Verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age.
Of full age, full tenure and experience. Come on.
Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil.
And when you're first coming in, you know, the first few years, you don't have those senses exercised to that level. And to be honest with you, you could be in 5-10 years but never go through anything as well. You understand? Just because you know scriptures or precepts and you know prophecy breakdowns because you learned them, that does not mean that you've had your senses exercised in both good and evil. The only way you are able to obtain that and experience that is when you go through real trials. That's when you'll have your faith exercised between good and evil. It takes time, so don't rush it. Appreciate the process. Now, let's go to, in regards to offending the ministry, Sirach 33 and 17. All right, so don't be selfish, all right? When we commit various acts, sin, lust, those are selfish acts, and we got to treat them as such, right? We got to identify it and realize the reason why we're committing these acts or want to be pulled out of this setting amongst the righteous and go commit that selfish act is why? Is because you're not considering everybody else around you, okay? So in classes like this, we got to make sure we focus and meditate on what's coming out, all right? Read that for me.
The book of Sirach, chapter 33, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Consider that I labor not for myself only.
Right, so Jesus, the son of Sirach, said, consider that I labor not for myself only, come on,
but for all them that seek learning.
Right, all them that seek learning, all of those young spirits that are amongst us and the ones who are out on the streets waiting for us to pop up in their city, right? We're doing it for them. It's got to come a point where the reason why you overcome sin, obviously because of your fear of the judgments, but it got to be hey, I don't want to let the nation down. You understand? I don't want to let those who are around me, I don't want them to look at me and be disappointed, okay? Obviously, we're carnal men. We'll make our mistakes like Paul said, but it shouldn't be. Give me that in Proverbs 24:16. That's why this scripture is so heavy. It shouldn't be the point where you just say, forget it. I'm just going to give myself to it. No. You may stumble. You may have a shortcoming, but you got to get right back up. That's how you know if you're righteous or not.
That's all right.
If you continue in that sin, you're a reprobate. You're playing games. You're hypocritical. All right, but if you stumble, get back up, that's how you know you got a chance in this thing. Read that for us.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16.
Go ahead.
For a just man falleth 7 times.
For those who are new, I always got to consider Ezekiel 18:5. All right, Ezekiel 18:5. What does it mean to be just? What does it mean to be a just man, a just sister? All right, watch this.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 5.
Come on.
But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right.
Well, there it is. It says, if you're just, what are you going to do? You're going to do what is lawful, which is keeping God's commandments, and what is right, which is keeping God's commandments. Give him that one too. Give him that, Deuteronomy 6:17 and verse 18. So what is lawful and what is right. So it's saying the same thing. Watch this.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 17.
Come on.
Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, and his testimonies and his statutes, which he hath commanded thee.
Come on.
And thou shalt do that which is right and good.
Said, which is right and good. Which is right and good. So now, go back to Proverbs 24. Watch this.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 16.
Come on.
For a just man falleth 7 times, and riseth up again.
And rises up again. That's the key. Meaning he rises up and casts the sin behind him and keep it pushing. Come on.
But the wicked shall fall into mischief.
They can't rise up. They fall into their mischief. You got brothers trying to correct them. You know, their peers. It could even be their spouse trying to correct him or her. All right, leadership correcting them, but they can't seem to rise above it because it ain't for them. It is what it is. So let's go back where we was at. Corinthians. Let's drop that. Let's go to 1 Peter 4. All right. We're going to expound on the lust before we get into the demonic possession. All right, let's go to 1 Peter 4. Give me verse 2.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 4 and verse 2.
Come on.
That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lusts of men, but to the will of God.
Right, but to the will of God. And what is God's will? Psalms chapter 40, verse 8. All right, we have to transform our mind, like it says in Romans 12, right? Don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed in the renewing of your mind. All right, read that for us.
Psalms chapter 40 and verse 8.
Come on.
I delight to do thy will, O my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
There it is. How do we get the laws of God into our hearts? How do we do that? Sirach 39 and 1. Let's go there. Okay, let's go to Sirach 39 and 1. So how do we get God's laws, his commandments in our heart, which is our mind? How do we do that? Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 1.
Go ahead.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
He that giveth his what?
His mind to the law of the Most High.
Giveth his mind to video games.
To the law of the Most High.
To rap music.
To the law of the Most High.
To the NBA playoffs.
To the law of the Most High.
So read it again for me all the way through.
But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High.
Come on.
And is occupied in the meditation thereof.
He's occupied with his job.
Occupied in the meditation thereof.
Occupied in the meditation of what? These scriptures, the laws of God. Come on.
Will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient. And be occupied in prophecies.
Come on.
That's right.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men.
He'll keep the sayings of the renowned men. Who are the renowned men of this time? Bishop Nathaniel, Bishop Yawasop, Bishop Kanai, Deacon Malachi, Deacon Abiel. You understand? These are the renowned men of this time.
That's
and
right.
he'll be able to keep these sayings. Bishop drops sayings every day.
Every day.
If you pay attention, what is Bishop doing? He's pouring out that wisdom. Give me that Sirach 8 and 8.
And you know
He's
that's
pouring
right.
that out for us to do what? To learn and glean from it. Because he stood the test of time and he's still enduring over 30 years in this truth. Okay? Read that for me, Sirach 8 and 8.
The book of Sirach, chapter 8 and verse 8.
Come on.
Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
We're supposed to do what?
Acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
Think about it. Acquaint is the root word of acquaintance. If you have an acquaintance, that means that's somebody you're familiar with, right? You know them. So if you acquaint yourself with the proverbs of the renown of the ancient men, that means you're going to be familiar with their wise sayings. You understand? We're familiar with, I know it's scripture. Bishop Yabasab coming on, I know he liked that Proverbs 13 and 12. You understand? The hope deferred. You understand? That's how you going to know. It's like you listen to, I know Bishop want that. I know Deacon want that. That's why you going to be. And guess what? In time, you going to become something like that. That's how it goes. But don't rush the process. All right? Drop that. Let's go back to 1 Peter 4:2. Come on.
1 Peter chapter 4, verse 2. That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of God.
But to the will of God. All right, drop that. Let's go to, stay in Peter's. Let's go to chapter 2 and give me verse 11. Watch this.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts.
We got to do what?
Abstain from fleshly lusts.
Abstain. Let's deal with that word, abstain. Let me see who's thinking. Abstain would be the root word of which word? I'm talking to y'all that's here. Abstain would be the root word of another word. Officer Losias, let's hear from you.
Shalom, Cap. Abstinence.
Very good. Where we going?
I don't got it off the top of the head, Cap.
Okay. Anybody can help him out? Okay. Well, you cooking with grease. You cooking with grease. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 7. Okay. Let's read 55. 2nd Ezra chapter 7, verse 55. Write this down. All right. These two go together. Watch this.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 55. And that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness.
Come on.
For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death.
So you choose. If you want to apply abstinence, which is abstaining from your different lust, you're going to shine brighter than the stars. But if you want to commit iniquity, you're going to what? You're going to have to suffer for that thing. Okay? So let's go back to 1 Peter 2 and 11.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11.
Come on.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts.
It says do what?
Abstain from fleshly lusts.
Which do what?
Which war against the soul.
Which war against the soul. For those who are real with themselves and honest. You know exactly what that's talking about. You're trying to get to that next level. You're trying to strive for greatness, overcome. But then here comes that pesky demon that you've been battling with. And you stumbled. And now you're off. Now everything you're touching is going south. Nothing's good for you. Why? Because it's spiritual warfare. You got that demon trying to bring down your soul. Okay, give me that one and give me 2. Wisdom of Solomon. Give me 9 and then we'll go to chapter 1. Watch this. Start at 15 for me. Start at 14.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 14. For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain.
Come on.
For the corruptible body presses down the soul.
You see that? It says the corruptible body. Remember the seed, what's that? The grain of evil seed was sown in Adam from the beginning, and from him come we all. So it say, for the corruptible body presseth down the soul, which is the real you. All right, this flesh, this ain't us. Just like we saw Jesus, that wasn't him either. We haven't seen the real Jesus yet. We haven't seen him in his true form. Just like we haven't seen us in our true forms yet.
You're going to learn today.
All right, read that verse again.
For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weigheth down the mind.
Right, the earthly tabernacle is what? This flesh. Weighs down your mind, which is your heart, which is your soul, the real you. Come on.
That museth upon many things.
Right. What are those many things that's in the heart and the mind? Adultery, lust. You understand? Murders, envy, all of that. All right, from there, go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 and give me verse 3. Watch this.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1 and verse 3. For forward thoughts separate from God.
Right,
And-
so it says forward thoughts separate from God. Give me that definition. All right, got to make sure we're defining these words and not assuming. Okay, I want everybody to see what forward means. All right, watch this, y'all.
Froward means willful or disobedient.
Willful or disobedient. So meaning what? Thoughts that go against the laws of God. All right, so read verse 3 again. Watch this.
For froward thoughts separate from God, and his power, when it is tried, reproveth the unwise.
The unwise. Come on.
For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter.
Right, so it says it says, for into a malicious soul, wisdom shall not enter. Meaning what? Christ ain't there. Christ has left the building. Okay, read that again.
For into a malicious soul wisdom shall not enter.
Come on.
Nor dwell in the body that is subject unto sin.
All right, so now let's go back to 1 Peter 2. All right, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11. Watch this.
1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11.
Come on.
Dearly beloved, I beseech you as strangers and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts,
Which do what?
which war against the soul.
So we understand when we don't abstain, we understand that those lusts, those demons are literally, when it says war, what are you doing warfare? You have a weapon, right? You okay? You can
That's
stab, you
right.
can shoot, you can blow up, you can do all of that. That's what they're doing to your soul. Give me that one in Proverbs chapter 8, verse 36. This is literally what's happening to the real you. Remember, what you see in the mirror is not you. That's your earthly tabernacle. Wow. This is your vehicle while you're in this realm. Okay? This ain't the real you, but understand when you give in to this earthly tabernacle, the one you see in the mirror, understand what it's doing to the real you. Watch this.
The book of Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 36.
Come on.
But he that sinneth against me
Uh-huh.
wrongeth his own soul.
You're wronging the real you. Come on. That you can't see. Come on.
All they that hate me love death.
There you go. Because eventually, if the demons keep warring and you keep meddling with them, what's going to happen? They're eventually going to win the war. You understand? And you're going to get the death spoken of by King Solomon. All right. Give me 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 14. All right. So today we're going over lust and demonic possession. All right. Let's read that.
1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 14. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lusts.
Right, the former lust, all right? Before we came through these doors, brothers and sisters, you know what it is. So the Bible says not fashioning yourself according to what we used to be caught up in. Go ahead.
In your ignorance. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Right, so we got to think about what we're doing on a daily basis, who we're talking to. If you're not talking to the righteous, you are talking to somebody. Message. And for those who say, I ain't talking to somebody, well, it ain't good to talk to yourself all the time either. All right, so that's the demonic possession part we're going to go into later. All right, for those who just say, I don't talk to nobody, it's all right, well, you got to be talking to somebody. You can be yourself, and you start answering yourself and all that. That ain't good either. That ain't good either. It sounds funny, but people be doing that stuff. All right, so stop it. Read that one more time.
Verse 15. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation.
Yes, be ye holy in all manner of conversation. I think it's Sirach 27. Let's go there real quick. Holy in all manner of conversation. Yes. Give me verse 13. Watch this. Sirach 27, and let's do verse 13 and 14. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 27, verse 13.
Come on.
The discourse of fools is irksome.
It say the discourse of what?
Of fools is irksome.
So how can you talk to your mother 3 times a day, right? How can you continue to talk to old family members or friends who are caught up in having sex with as many women as possible? Okay? No. Because it say when you're righteous, you should have all manner of holy conversation. And it also say the noise of fools is irksome. It annoys you. So if you can sit there and hear those conversations all day, every day, that means what? There's something wrong with your spirit. Message. All right, read that again.
The discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is in the wantonness of sin.
In the wantonness of sin. That's what they want to do. That's what they talk about. That's what they meditate on. But you, as an Israelite, repenting Israelite, guess what? Your talk should always be in the scriptures.
That's right.
Okay? So drop that. Let's go to Titus 3:3. All right? Titus chapter 3, verse 3. Going into our repentance, brothers and sisters. All right? Watch this.
The book of Titus, chapter 3 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish.
Right. Paul kept it real. Okay? We got to keep it real. Paul kept it real. We got to do the same thing. And say, for we also ourselves were sometimes foolish. Go ahead.
Disobedient. Deceived.
Disobedient. Come on.
Deceived. Serving diverse lusts and pleasures. Living in malice and envy. Hateful and hating one another.
Come on.
But after that, the kindness and love of God, our Savior, toward men appeared. Not by works of righteousness, which we have done, but according to his mercy, he saved us.
Right. According to his mercy. Remember, Christ embodied everything that we deal with on the day-to-day, right? He came and suffered. He felt the infirmities. He felt the temptation. So it's not that we are deserving of his grace and mercy. He's just doing that because he's been in our shoes and knows what we go through. So he said, yeah, I know you're in the midst of sin, but yet I came and died for you so you can have a chance.
That's
you
right.
can have an opportunity. Read verse 5 again.
Not by works of righteousness, which we have done, but according to his mercy, he saved us.
Come on.
By the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Holy Ghost.
By being what? Putting on the new man. That's all that's saying. The washing of regeneration. We are clean with the washing of the water by the word. That's what it's saying right there. Being that new man. Okay. From there, let's go to Romans 6. Okay. Romans 6. So knowing that we got to abstain, knowing that we are now that new man, we can't bring an offense to the ministry. Let's go here. Give me Romans chapter 6, and I want to start at 12. We're going to read down.
Romans chapter 6 and verse 12. Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal body.
Right, so now knowing this, we cannot allow sin to reign in our mortal bodies. Remember what it said in Proverbs 24:16? It say those who are wicked, they're going to fall into mischief, and they not going to rise up again like the righteous. All right, read that again.
Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal body,
Let's read on.
that ye should obey it in the lust thereof. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin.
Unto sin. So your members, what is this talking about? The members of your body, okay? The members of your body. You got your hands, you have your eyes, and you got your private parts too. Okay, read that verse again.
Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin.
Come on.
But yield yourselves unto God as those that are alive from the dead.
That's the
right.
washing of regeneration that we just read about in Titus. Okay, read that part again.
But yield yourselves unto God as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto God.
Right, so don't get caught up in using your body to commit evil. No. Use your body for righteousness. All right, be caught up in doing the work. Okay, be caught up in doing the work. Let's read on.
Verse 14. For sin shall not have dominion over you.
Come on.
For ye are not under the law, but under grace. What then? Shall we sin?
Jump down to verse 20. Watch this.
Verse 20. For when ye were servants of sin, ye were free from righteousness.
Come on.
What fruit had ye then in those things whereof ye are now ashamed?
So it's saying, what came out of you living a sinful life? Some of you, now you're on child support, right? Was that something good? No, it's not good. Now your wages are garnished.
Lord
Some
have
came
mercy.
with STDs. Some came with broken bones, or now like you got a limp because you got beat down doing something you weren't supposed to do. You understand? Some came emotionally damaged from putting yourself in bad situations. Read that part again.
What fruit had ye then in those things whereof ye are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death.
For the end of sin is death. The wages of sin is death. Come on.
But now being made free from sin and become servants to God, ye have your fruits unto holiness, and the end everlasting life.
Read on.
For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord.
All right, so let's keep reading. Romans 7. Come on.
Romans chapter 7, verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he liveth?
Come on.
For the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband, so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband.
Right, so this is going back to the law. Who was Paul speaking to? Remember, you had different Pharisees that actually believed on Christ. All right, so right here in Romans 7, Paul is writing to them. All right, he's giving examples of the law so they can relate to them, the different leaders in Rome. Come on.
Verse 3. So then if, while her husband liveth, she be married to another man,
Come on.
she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, although she be married to another man.
So meaning what? If her husband is dead and gone, she's free to marry. But if she marries while he's alive, no, she's an adulteress. She's in the midst of sin. Come on.
Wherefore, my brethren, ye also are become dead to the law by the body of Christ.
Now he's saying, my brethren, all right, these leaders, all right, you have also become dead to the law of sacrifice under Christ. But he used that example for them to resonate with and understand. Come on.
That ye should be married to another, even to him who is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto God.
Right. You can't continue to push animal sacrifice if you're following Christ. Remember what they were saying in Acts 15. They're saying, in order to be saved, you have to be circumcised after the manner of Moses. Is that what Christ came and taught? Absolutely not. No, you still had to get circumcised, but not after the manner of sacrifice. You didn't have to offer up anything. All right, so Paul's making it plain. All right, you have to be dead to the law of sacrifice when you follow Christ. Come on.
Verse 5. For when we were in the flesh, the motions of sin, which were by the law, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death.
Come on.
But now we are delivered from the law, that being dead wherein we were held, that we should serve in newness of spirit.
Right, we should be in newness of spirit. Now that we put on Christ, all right, we shouldn't walk the same way after the manner of the old sins. All right, we should have newness of life.
Right.
Okay, come on.
And not in the oldness of the letter.
And he's speaking to them directly, contextually, not the oldness of the letter, which is referring to animal sacrifice. Come on.
What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law.
Come on.
For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet.
So he's saying the righteousness of the law, we still have to keep. We still have to apply. Watch this.
But sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscence. For without the law, sin was dead.
Right, for without the law of sin was dead. Watch this.
For I was alive without the law once.
So what is Paul saying? He said he was alive without the law once. He's not talking about the law of sacrifice here. All right, this is the law of righteousness. So he's saying he was alive without the law, meaning he was a sinner. He was in the midst of sin, serving what? All manner of concupiscence. Wow. Read.
But when the commandment came, sin revived.
Then it says once the commandment came, sin revived. He wouldn't know what sin was except it was by the law of righteousness. Come on.
And I died.
And he died. And he died. He had to do what? Him dying was repenting from that old life, that sinful life, and walking in the newness of Christ. All right? From there, let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and 15. All right? 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. So, brothers and sisters, okay, a lot of scriptures are coming out, but we have to make sure, that we're examining ourselves, being real with ourselves. And we got to ask, am I still the old person? Have I seen any progress? In this truth, brothers and sisters, there has to come a point in time where you're able to measure yourself or gauge where you've come from. Give me that in Sirach 17 before we read Corinthians. All right? We got to be real with ourselves. Paul told us in 2 Corinthians, examine ourselves, but we should also see a change over time. Let's read that. Start at 24.
The book of Sirach, chapter 17, verse 24. But unto them that repent, he granted them return, and comforted those that failed in patience.
Read on.
Return unto the Lord and forsake thy sins.
Right. So it says, if you fall short, return to the Lord and forsake your sin. Come on.
Make thy prayer before his face.
Watch this.
And offend less.
That's for you to decide. That's for you to be real with yourself. You got to be like, wow, am I offending less, or am I the same person? Am I still going at it week after week after week? Or maybe I messed up this week, but I'm good for 6 months and maybe a year, or I did this again, or it's just every other month, every other week. You should be able to examine yourself and be real about it, all right? So from there, let's go to 1 Corinthians 6:15.
1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? God forbid.
Right. So the members is going into what? Our bodies, all right? The different body parts. So Paul is saying, should we join it with the members of an harlot? It says, God forbid. No, we should not. All right? That would be what? That would be blaming the ministry. All right? That would be taking the grace of God in vain, okay, if you've done that. Because we understand, thou shalt not commit adultery. You understand? Thou shalt not covet. We understand what the law says. Read it again.
Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Christ? Shall I then take the members of Christ and make them the members of an harlot? God forbid.
Read on.
What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
Come on.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
So you got to make your decision, all right? You have to make your decision. Like it says in the Gospels, you can't serve God and mammon. You have to make up your mind which you're going to serve. Revelations 3:15. Let's get that one. All right, Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. So brothers and sisters, remember what happens when you do meddle. The demons, those wicked spirits, all right, it's warring against your soul. Okay? That's why it says you can't serve God and mammon. You can't be lukewarm. Read that.
Revelation chapter 3, verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot.
You got to make up your mind which one you're going to be. It's either you're going to be all the way out the spirit or hot and on fire for the word of God. Come on.
I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
Right. The Most High going to reject you. It's one way or the other. Now, mind you, we're not going over it, but when you read Sirach 4, he'll walk with you in crooked ways, but it doesn't give a time period. You understand? It doesn't say he'll walk with you for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. It don't say that. He said he'll do it. But once the Lord see that you are no longer worthy, okay, that you playing games, that you are taking his grace in vain, he going to spew you out of his mouth. All right, read that again.
So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
Come on.
Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked.
Watch this.
I counsel thee.
That was it on that verse?
Yes.
Okay, the end on that verse. That's what happens. A lot of times, brothers and sisters, you could be so used to the Lord blessing and providing for you to the point where you forget that it's him doing it. You understand? Things are going great for you, but then here comes something. You lose your job. Okay, you lose your job. Say your house gets broken into. You lose your wallet with all of your ID, Social Security. You get, what's it called? When somebody take your identity fraud. You understand? Something like that happened to you. You get in a car accident. Something bad happened to you. Then you're like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. Let me put things back in perspective. Okay? Read 17 again. Watch this.
Verse 17. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods.
And that's the brothers and sisters who say they don't need God. Do you verbally say it? No, you don't verbally say it, but your actions say it. Your actions say it. And the Lord, he reads those actions. He's a God of knowledge, and by him, actions are weighed.
That's
all
right.
By him, actions are weighed. The Lord is saying we need him for everything. All right. And sometimes we forget. And that's why certain things happen, to put us back in check, to let us know, nah, it's God doing this. You need to make up your mind who you're going to serve because you become very forgetful. Okay, read that again, 17.
Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods.
Come on.
And have need of nothing. And thou knowest that thou art wretched and miserable.
Right, but you know you wretched and miserable. You understand? You know you can't be anything. You can't accomplish nothing with lest it be for the Father. Come on.
And miserable and poor and blind and naked.
Blind and naked, destitute. You understand? Poor. Think about why we're able to have food, funds to get food, clothing, shelter, transportation. It's because of God having mercy on us, brothers and sisters. That's why we're able to do these things. And that's why he says this. Read verse 15 and 16 again.
Verse 15. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot.
Come on.
I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth.
So, brothers and sisters, we got to make up our mind. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians. Give me verse 17. Read down.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17.
Come on.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication.
Do what?
Flee fornication.
Read on.
Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body.
Right. When you commit that sin, you do it not considering everybody else. The body, that right there is talking about the body in Christ. All right, so it says, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. You sin against your own self. Showing you it's a selfish act. It's a very selfish act. Come on.
What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost, which is in you, which ye have of God, and ye are not your own?
Come on.
For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
Right, which both belong to God's. Which both belong to God. Give me that one. Wisdom of Solomon 15 and verse 8. Because it just said in verse 20, it says, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit. Showing you what? The body God created, and in your spirit, that's the real you. And the body is the vehicle that the Lord gave you while you're on earth. Watch this. Give me chapter 15, verse 8.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 8.
Come on.
And employing his labors lewdly, he maketh a vain god of the same clay.
So this is going into idolatry, all right? Showing how simple man can be. Sometimes you can make your own self an idol, okay? Come on.
Even he which a little before was made of earth himself.
That's talking about made of the dirt, all right? The earth and ashes, come on.
And within a little while after returneth to the same.
So when we die, when these earthly tabernacles die, it's going to return right to the ground which it came. Come on.
Out of the which he was taken. When his life which was lent him shall be demanded.
You see that? Which his life which was lent him shall be demanded. Our life is talking about our time in this realm on earth. But guess what? There's going to be a time when God, when it says when God demands you to come back to him. So showing you what? These earthly tabernacles are just being rent or lent to us for a dispensation of time. That's all that's going into. So from there, let's get Sirach chapter 9, verse 3. Okay? Let's go to Sirach chapter 9 and verse 3. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 3.
Come on.
Meet not with
Start at verse 2.
Verse 2. Give not thy soul unto a woman.
So simps, listen up. All you simps out there who are weak for the woman. The Bible says, don't give your soul, which is the real you. Don't give your soul to a woman. Remember the order. It's God, Christ, man. Your soul goes up, never down. You understand? Your soul goes up to Christ.
That's right.
Give your heart to Christ, not a woman. Read it again.
Give not thy soul unto a woman.
Come on.
To set her foot upon thy substance. Meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares.
Right, so it says, meet not with a harlot. That's what we was just going over in 1 Corinthians. Actually, before we continue, let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. Give me verse 1. Watch this.
1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
I'm going to see if y'all was paying attention. So it says, now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Somebody explain verse 1. Who's got that? Verse 1.
Shalom, Cap. Can we read it one more time?
Verse 7. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
What's this talking about?
Not to give your soul unto a woman and focus on giving your soul to Christ.
Try one more time.
It's good for a man to have his mind set on doing the work. And
No. Anybody want to try one more? Oh, okay, go ahead, officer.
Yes, sir. Shalom, Cap. Most High Christ blessed. The first part of it says, now concerning the things whereof he wrote unto me, right in verse 6, he was talking about
Verse 6?
chapter 6.
Uh-huh.
He was talking about they wrote unto him that there was fornication in the midst of that church in Corinth.
Yes. What type?
Fornication.
What exactly was happening?
The harlot.
There
They
you
were
go.
given that. Yes, sir.
There you go. Dealing with harlots, dealing with prostitutes. Very good. That's what it's talking about.
Yes, sir.
So read verse 1 again.
Verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Right. It's good for a man not to touch harlots, prostitute, whores. Okay? Come on.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication,
So to avoid sleeping with prostitutes, come on.
let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband.
Right. And have every woman have her own husband. Okay?
That's right.
So now let's go back to Sirach chapter 9, verse 3. Watch this.
Sirach chapter 9 and verse 3.
Come on.
Meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares.
Jump down to verse 5.
Verse 5. Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her.
Now, so who can explain verse 5? Let's deal with that. I need somebody, make it quick. Explain verse 5. Y'all should know this. Somebody explain it for us.
yes, sir. It said, gaze not on a woman, meaning not, don't look at her and stare at her and be thinking about what you would do.
Yes, it says that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. What's precious in her?
Her privates,
Her
and
members,
her shapes.
You're right. Her breast,
curves.
her behind, her, you understand, her quiver. I'm using biblical words. You understand? So that's what it's talking about. All right. So is this only talking about dealing with like going to the street and grabbing a harlot? What is this talking about? Verse 5.
Verse 5.
No, I'm asking a question. Yes.
Shalom, Cap. It's saying gaze in general. So if you're just staring at women, you know what I'm saying, staring at your phone, you know.
What? Okay, to make it plain for everybody.
Right, like gaze. So gaze is like staring.
Oh
so
gosh, make it plain. What is that called?
Stare.
Oh gosh, somebody help us. Oh gosh, say what you just said. Your example.
Like-
I was going off of what you said.
Staring at your phone.
Okay, what is that called?
Social media? No.
Somebody help him. Somebody help him.
It's called lust.
Somebody help him out, please. We have to be able to make the scriptures plain
Yes,
to
sir.
modern day. What's this called?
Porn.
Pornography. Yes.
Yes,
Can he get a sound effect for getting the answer right? Can you press a button for him? He gets a bomb. Yes, it's called pornography. All right. All right. Read it again.
Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her.
Come on.
Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance.
Right. It say, don't give your soul to harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance. Our inheritance is already set and promised to us. Once Christ came and died for us, we now were promised the kingdom.
That's right.
That's what you got to understand. What we're doing right now, we're just living out the rest of the curse. So our inheritance is the kingdom of heaven. So if we allow a harlot to take away our inheritance, literally watching porn or sleeping with prostitutes, this is going to take away the kingdom from us.
Damn.
That's what this is saying. Give me Proverbs 29. All right, so this is the condition of the battle. We have to fight. Remember, if we're not fighting, it's the demons that's warring against our soul. Somebody's got to win at some point. Somebody's got to win. All right, so we got to fight, put on a whole armor like it says in Ephesians 6. You understand? So we can win that. Otherwise, we're going to lose the war, okay? Proverbs 29:3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29 and verse 3.
Come on.
Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father.
It say, whosoever loveth wisdom, wisdom is Christ. It says, rejoiceth his father. Come on.
But he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance.
He spendeth his substance. All right, meaning to the point where he's not going to have an inheritance. If you spend all your, that's what inheritance is going into. Okay, you inherit, you say your parents pass, they leave you a house, right? Leave you a car, leave you some money in the bank account. But it say, that last part, read it again.
He that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance.
So you won't have an inheritance anymore, okay? You spent it all up by dealing with whores, prostitutes. Wow. All right, let's drop that. Let's go to the book of History Susanna, chapter 1. All right, History Susanna, chapter 1, from the least to the greatest. All right, this applies for each and every last one, okay? History Susanna in the Apocrypha. We're going to start at verse 5. Watch this.
The book of History of Susanna, verse 5.
Come on.
The same year were appointed 2 of the ancients of the people to be judges, such as the Lord spake of. That wickedness came from Babylon, from ancient judges, who seemed to govern the people.
Right, so the ancients would be, another word for ancients, elders. All right, so they've been around, they had names, okay? So 2 ancients were elected to be judges. Verse 6.
These keep much at Joachim's house, and all that had any suit in law came unto them. Now when the people departed away at noon, Susanna went into her husband's garden to walk, and the 2 elders saw her going in every day and walking, so that their lust was inflamed toward her. And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven.
Right, they turned their eyes from doing the will of the Lord, and they focused their eyes and started gazing on this woman, Susanna. Wow. All right, come on.
Nor remember just judgments.
Nor remember just judgments. So showing you what? When you're in the midst of sin as a leader, can you make proper judgment calls?
And you know,
No. No, you cannot. Things are going to be off. Okay, read that part again.
And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgments.
Come on.
And albeit they both were wounded with her love.
They both was wounded with her love. Come on.
Yet durst not one show another his grief.
Hey, real quick, I want to jump the gun real quick. Go to going with when an leader, elder, all right, someone in that position is dealing with lust and acting upon it. It's showing you, first and foremost, you turn your eyes away from God. Now your mind is focused on the booty or the lust or whatever it is, and you can no longer make just judgment. Watch this. Give me Sirach 19. We're coming back to Susanna, but give me Sirach 19, and I want you to read verse 2.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 2.
Watch this.
Wine and women will make men of understanding to fall away.
You see that? It say wine and women will make men of understanding that have great knowledge in these scriptures, men of understanding to fall away from the one true God. Wow. Okay, come on.
And he that cleaveth to harlots will become impudent.
And it says, if you cleave to harlots, because you have to cleave to one thing, one or the other. Remember, it said you can't serve God or mammon, and it says it's either you're hot or cold. You got to make a decision. So at one point, you're going to cleave to something. So it says, if you cleave to harlots, you're going to become impudent. Give me the definition of impudent so y'all can understand. So in Susanna, it was they were dealing with lusting after a woman, and they weren't able to make just judgment anymore. This one says, if you cleave unto harlots, it says you're going to become impudent. What does it mean to become impudent? Watch this. Blow that up.
Impudent, marked by contemptuous or cocky boldness or disregard of others.
Right, or disregard of others. It don't matter. Who are you to me? That's what happens. And you see that a lot of young men, they mess around and go get some in the world. Now that their spirit is totally different. You've seen that amongst other men in the body before. They become disrespectful as if you did something to them. But back at the ranch, they're in the midst of sin. Now they become bold, emboldened, and cocky and disrespectful because they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. Go back to that. See if there's any more synonyms or something. Lacking modesty. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Give me 2 Peter before we go back. 2 Peter 2 and 10. Watch this.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise governments.
They do what?
Despise governments.
You're going to see that same spirit. When they're walking in their lust, you know, because remember, their eyes are turned away from God. Now their lust is just solely on that booty, or whatever the lust is. It could be a vast majority of anything. Read it again.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise governments.
Meaning what? They disrespect the government that God has established on this earth. The leadership, the hierarchy, the bishops, the deacons, the captains, the officers. They despise that. Come on.
Presumptuous are they. Self-willed.
They're self-willed. Come on.
They are not afraid to speak evil of dignity.
And they're not afraid to speak evil of the order that God set up above them. But showing you the root cause is because they're walking in their flesh. They're walking after their lust. So now let's go back to History of Susanna and give me verse 9.
History of Susanna, verse 9.
Come on.
And they perverted their own mind and turned away their eyes, that they might not look unto heaven, nor remember just judgment.
Come on.
And albeit both were wounded by her love, yet durst not one show another his grief.
Come on.
For they were ashamed to declare their lust, that they desired to have to do with her. Yet they watched diligently from day to day to see her.
Right. So if you haven't read the history of Susanna, that's something you need to read. All right. Very good history. You read about the prophet Daniel as a youth as well. But for the sake of time, let's jump up to verse 56. Watch this.
Verse 56. So he put him aside and commanded to bring the other, and said unto him, O thou seed of Canaan. Right.
He called him seed of Canaan. He called him a Hamite because Israelites should not be dealing in this type of wicked behavior. Read.
And not of Judah.
And not of Judah. Come on.
Beauty hath deceived thee.
And say what?
Beauty hath deceived thee.
Come on.
And lust hath perverted thine heart.
So it's showing you what happens when you allow lust to take place. It will pervert your mind. It's going to pervert your soul. From there, Luke 22 and 31. So brothers and sisters, we have to realize, first and foremost, the dangers that are out there. All right, what the scriptures are trying to tell us. But most importantly, this is a battle. And Satan desires to have each and every last one of us. All right, read that for me.
The book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 31.
Go ahead.
And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you.
And say what?
Satan hath desired to have you.
So Christ, he shared that with Peter. He shared that with him. He say, Satan has desired to have you. Come on.
That he may sift you as wheat.
That he may destroy you. Remember, these wicked demons, the flesh, it wars against the soul. And ultimately, that's the end game. It wants you dead. Sift you as wheat, destroy you. So brothers and sisters, we got to understand that. We got to know the condition of the battle. And we have to make sure we're mindful and doing everything in our power to prevent it. Sirach 23 and 3. Okay.
Y'all all right?
Sirach chapter 23 and verse 3. Watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 3.
Watch this.
Lest mine ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction.
And my what?
My sins abound to my destruction.
We already know Satan coming for us. We know that. But it's telling you, hey, if you don't get a control, if you don't get a grip, and say your sins are going to lead to your death. That's what the Bible's saying right there. Read it again.
Lest mine ignorances increase, and my sins abound to my destruction.
Come on.
And I fall before mine adversaries, and mine enemies rejoice over me.
Come on.
Whose hope is far from thy mercy.
Right, whose hope is far from thy mercy. So brothers and sisters, let's be mindful. 2 Ezra 16 and 77. Okay, 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 77. Understanding Satan is coming for each and every last one of us. We understand that sins are going to lead to our destruction, our death. Okay? All right? We have to get a grip. All right? Now, okay, let's say you were going astray from the Lord. Now it's time to seek him 10 times more. Now it's time to put it to the side. Stop. Refocus. Get your mind right. Stop sinning and get yourself together before it's too late. 2nd Ezra 16 and 77.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 77.
Come on.
Woe be unto them
Woe
that...
means destruction. Woe means destruction. Okay, didn't we just read that? In Sirach 23, go back to Sirach 23 and 3. Woe means destruction. Let's see if this go with this. Watch this, read it again.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23, verse 3.
Come on.
Lest mine ignorances increase,
Uh-huh.
and my sins abound to my destruction.
To my what?
To my destruction.
It said, lest my sins abound to my destruction, 2nd Ezra 16, 77.
Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins.
It say destruction is coming to those who are bound in their sins. Meaning what? You have not risen up again. You just keep sinning over and over and over again, and you ain't even showing no sign to stopping. You comfortable with it. Now everything in your life is now falling apart. Everything in your life is now going south, and you scratch your head wondering why. But God is telling you why.
Message.
Read it again.
Woe be unto them that are bound with their sins.
Come on.
And covered with their iniquities.
Uh-huh.
Like as a field is covered over with bushes, and the path thereof covered with thorns.
Come on.
That no man may travel through.
Meaning what? You was one person at one point in time. Now you're unrecognizable. That's what the scripture's telling you. Why? Because you allow your sins to grow so much to the point where you don't even know it's a field. Now you just think that's the woods. You just think that's the forest, the jungle area, when it was a thriving field that everybody used to come and have picnics and all of that crap, you know, eat out there, run around with the kiddies. But now it's unrecognizable, okay? From there, let's go to Matthew 12 and 22. Now we're about to get into the demonic possession, okay? Matthew chapter 12, verse 22. Watch this.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 22.
Come on.
Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb, and he healed him, insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw.
Come on.
And all the people were amazed and said, Is not this the son of David? But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doth not cast out devils.
There you go. There goes these guys, man. These freaking guys. They see him just cast out a devil. Christ had the power to do that, okay? So you had some people in 23 say, and all the people were amazed and said, hey, is this not the son of David? Dang, like this is amazing what's going on. But then you got these hating Negroes over here called the Pharisees, scribes, saying, oh, he did that in the spirit of the devil. Why? Because they were blind. They couldn't see it, even though these were the doctors of the law, meaning they was in the scripts all the time. They didn't see the prophecy. They didn't see Deuteronomy 18 like we read earlier. They didn't understand that. You understand? Paul grew up as a Pharisee too. He didn't see it until what happened? His eyes were open. His eyes were open. And that was on his road to Damascus when you read Acts 9.
That's right.
So it's showing you these Pharisees and scribes, they didn't understand. They didn't realize, they didn't witness and recognize that this in fact was the Christ. Okay? Let's read on. Read verse 24 again.
Verse 24. But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils.
Come on.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Come on.
And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
So he's saying, how could you say that I'm using witchcraft or I'm doing this after the name of Satan to cast out himself? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no logical sense. Go ahead.
And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges.
All right, so let's see what he's saying. Let's see what he's saying right there. So Christ is saying, how could he cast out Satan and destroy his works if he didn't first overcome Satan? That's what he's saying right there. How did he do it? Remember, Christ, give me 1 Peter 2:21, okay? 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21, and I want to get John 3, okay? All right. Let me hear that one first, though.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 21.
Come on.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Christ also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin.
Who did what?
No sin.
Who did no sin. Come on.
Neither was guile found in his mouth.
Neither was guile found in his mouth. All right. Give me John chapter 3, verse 34. Okay.
The book of John, chapter 3 and verse 34.
Come on.
For he whom God hath sent speaketh the words of God. For God giveth not the Spirit by measure unto him.
Right. So God gave him power over everything, including those unclean spirits. All right. Come on.
The Father loveth the Son, and hath given all things into his hand.
And then there was one more. It was one more. I'm sorry. Let's go back. Those are good. We use those right now. If I think of the other one, I'll go to it. But let's go back to Matthew 12 and 27. Watch this, y'all.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 27.
Come on.
And if I by Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom your children cast them out, therefore they shall be your judges.
Right. Talking about their children, talking about their followers, the other Pharisees and scribes, the other ones. It's saying, okay, if I'm using that, what do y'all use? Because they are the devil. That's what he's saying. He's calling them the devil. All right. Give me Luke 4. We'll go here. Give me Luke 4 and 33. Okay. Just showing you another instance of Christ casting out devils. And then we'll go back and read down. Watch this.
The book of Luke, chapter 4, verse 33.
Come on.
And in the synagogues there was a man.
Start at 32.
Verse 32. And they were astonished at his doctrine, for his word was with power. And in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, and cried out with a loud voice, saying, Let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee, who thou art, the Holy One of God.
Right, so it's showing you the demons, and this is going to be a reoccurring theme. The demons understand and know exactly who Christ is. Okay? You hear about things in psychology, or those who have like psychosis or like mental issues and things of that nature. Those are demons. That's what that is. And the reason why many of our people are bound with those demons, because they don't know Christ. They don't know Christ, dabbling in sin, dabbling in things they shouldn't have been dabbling in, and they have legions on them. They got multiple demons over and over and over again until the point it took over. And a lot of people here think that can't happen. Oh, you crazy. I've literally witnessed it. I'm not going to mention no cities. Yeah, I ain't going to mention no cities. I've seen it. I've seen brothers that had high-ranking officers out in the streets, stripped down to their drawers, going crazy, threatening, lost their mind completely. Why? Because they wanted to keep playing with the sin and didn't realize that sin was going to lead to their destruction. You understand? Seen many different occasions. Now we got brothers went back to the Catholic Church, went back to the Christian church and trying to debate us.
This is ridiculous.
So I understand you keep playing with sin. You think it can't happen to you. Oh, I'll never turn my back on this truth. Well, if you join yourself with harlots, if you continue to go after that lust, that will be you. That will also be you. Read that verse again.
Saying, Let us alone. What have ye to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth?
Come on.
Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee who thou art, the Holy One of God.
Give me that in James 2. Okay? Like I said, it's a recurring thing. We almost done. Give me James chapter 2, verse 19. Watch this.
The book of James chapter 2 and verse 19.
Come on.
Thou believest that there is one God. Thou doest well. The devils also believe.
The devils what?
Also believe.
It says these devils also believe, read.
And tremble.
And tremble. Because they understand. Go back to Luke chapter 4, verse 32. Watch this.
Luke chapter 4, verse 32.
Come on.
And they were astonished at his doctrine, for his word was with power.
Because they understand the power of Christ. That's why they fear and tremble, because they know who he is and what he's going to do to them. Wow. Give me verse 35. Come on.
35. And Jesus rebuked him, saying, Hold thy peace and come out of him. And when the devil had thrown him in the midst, he came out of him and hurt him not. And they were amazed and spake among themselves, saying, What a word is this? For with authority and power he commanded the unclean spirits, and they came out.
All right, so now I want to go back to Matthew, pick up at verse 28, read down to 30.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 28.
Come on.
But if I cast out devils by the Spirit of God, then the kingdom of God is come unto you.
Right, so what did he do? He cast out devils by the Spirit of God, showing you what? The kingdom of God, repentance has come to the nation of Israel, not Beelzebub. Come on.
Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house?
So the house, the strong man, this is going into the world, all right? The wickedness of the world, the prince of the power of this world, which is Satan, the devil. So he's saying, how could he get into his house without binding him first? Showing you what? Christ overcame the tempter. When did he do that? Matthew, the 4th chapter. Let's get that. Let's get that. I wasn't planning on going there, but let's get it. All right, let's get that in Matthew chapter 4, start at verse 6.
Matthew chapter 4, verse 6.
Come on.
And saith unto him, if thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hand they shall bear thee up, lest any time thou dash thy foot against a stone.
Come on.
Jesus said unto him, it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God.
Come on.
Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me.
Come on.
Then saith Jesus unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
Christ is literally speaking to Satan, telling him what? You know that I am your God. That's what Christ is saying. He said, you're not supposed to be tempting me, you're supposed to be worshiping me. Remember what we just read in James 2:19? The devils know Christ and they fear and tremble. So Christ is telling them, hey, stop all of that. You're supposed to be worshiping me. Now check this out. Give me Matthew 10:1. Christ had the power to cast out these unclean spirits, these devils, these demons. See who he gave that power to. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 1.
Come on.
And when he called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits.
He did what?
Gave them power against unclean spirits.
He gave the apostles, the disciples, power against these unclean spirits.
That's right.
So understanding that the Lord gave us power against these unclean spirits, that's telling us something. Why we got so many brothers and sisters demon possessed? Why we got so many brothers coming in not overcoming?
Do y'all see this?
Do y'all see the power that the Lord give? Give me John 14. I don't think they really get it yet. It said that was only to the disciples, to the apostles. Give me John chapter 14 and give me verse 12. Watch this.
The book of John chapter 14 and verse 12.
Come on.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also.
It says the works that Christ do shall we do also. Come on.
And greater works.
And what?
Greater works.
And what?
Greater works.
Come on.
Than these shall he do.
Come on.
Because I go unto my Father.
But the key is what? We got to believe. That's the key. Brothers and sisters, we got to believe that thing. So if you don't believe you can overcome lust, you're not going to be able to do the works that Christ did or greater. But if you truly believe, you're going to be able to overcome. That's what the scripture's saying right there. Drop the Matthew one. Give me Acts 19. I had more on that, but what time is it? Okay, yeah, we wrapping up. Give me Acts 19 and start at verse 11.
The book of Acts chapter 19 and verse 11.
Come on.
And God wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul, so that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the disease departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them.
Come on.
And certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Jesus, saying, we adjure you by Jesus, whom Paul preacheth. And there were 7 sons of Sceva, a Jew, a chief of the priests, which did so.
So you had some vagabond Jews, all right, who were envious of what Paul and the apostles were doing, Okay, how they were casting out the demons, the unclean spirits. So they took it upon themselves to try to do the same thing. Watch this.
And there were 7 sons, Sceva, a Jew, chief of the priests, which
Verse
did
15.
so. And the evil spirits answered and said, Jesus I know.
It says what?
Jesus I know.
Once again, the evil spirits, they understand. The demons, the devils, they know Messiah because he's their God. They have to do what he say do. Okay? Read that verse again.
And the evil spirit answered and said,
Come on.
Jesus I know,
Uh-huh.
and Paul I know, but who are ye?
But the key is they said, not just Jesus, but they know Paul too. Why? Give me 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. Okay? 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. So it said they know Jesus and they know Paul. They knew the apostles too. Watch this.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1.
Come on.
Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
So if we followers of Christ, that means what? They know us too. So if we profess Christ, we should have power over these unclean spirits.
That's
the
right.
Spirit of lust, the spirit of porn, adultery, fornication. All of these unclean spirits, we should have the same power to do what? Cast them out and overcome them, just like Christ did.
Every day.
All right, from there, 1 Peter 5 and 8. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8.
Actually, go back to Matthew first. I want to go back to Matthew. There's something I want to touch. Matthew 12 and 43. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 12 verse 43.
Come on.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none.
Mm-hmm.
Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come in, and when he is come,
All right, hold on. Read 43 again, please.
verse 43.
Come on.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man,
So say when an unclean spirit is gone out of a man. Come on.
he walketh through dry places.
Right, he walking through dry places. I just want to show you something real quick. You know, dry places, he's not in his normal home, which is inside of the earthly tabernacle, okay? Go to the book of Tobit real quick. Tobit chapter 3, start at 7, and then we'll jump to chapter 8. Watch this.
The book of Tobit chapter 3 and verse 7.
Come on.
It came to pass the same day that in Ecbatane, a city of Media, Sarah the daughter of Raguel was also reproached by her father's maid, because that she had been married to 7 husbands, whom Asmodeus, the evil spirit had
It says
killed.
Asmodeus, the evil spirit, come on.
Had killed.
Okay, so she had Asmodeus, the demon that was inside of her, that killed 7 of the men that she was about to marry, or did marry, but when they went to the chamber, they died. They got killed by the evil spirit. Come on.
Before they had lain with her. Dost thou not know, said they, that thou hadst strangled thine husbands? Thou hast had already 7 husbands. Neither wast thou named after any of them.
All right, from there, jump to Tobit chapter 8 and give me verse 1. We read 1 through 3. Watch this. Because remember, we read in Matthew 12, 43, it talk about the unclean spirit. When it come out of a man, goes into the desert place, the dry place, wandering and seeking refuge, seeking a home again. Watch this.
Tobit chapter 8 and verse 1.
Come on.
And when he had supped, they brought Tobias in unto her. And as he went, he remembered the words of Raphael, and took the ashes of the perfumes, and put the heart and the liver of the fish thereupon, and made a smoke therewith.
Watch this.
The which smell, when the evil spirit had smelled,
Right, so when the evil spirit had smelt it, come on.
he fled into the utmost parts of Egypt, and the angel bound him.
Right, and he was bounded. So he fled and went to Egypt, which is a desert land. All right, so watch this. Go back to Matthew 12, 43.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 43.
Come on.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest.
Right, seeking rest, seeking rest. He left. He didn't like the smell. He had to dip. He had to get out of that situation. All right, give me James 4 and 7. We're going to relate. We're going to tie all these in together. All right, James chapter 4 and 7. But before you read that, give me 1 Peter 5 and 8. All right, watch this. We're almost done.
The book of 1 Peter, chapter 5 and verse 8.
Go ahead.
Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil,
It says our adversary, the devil, come on.
as a roaring lion, walketh about.
He does what?
Walketh about.
He walking about, all right, just like those unclean spirits walking about. They all the same. Read.
Seeking whom he may devour.
Seeking who he could jump back into in war against your soul. Okay? James 4 and 7.
James chapter 4 verse 7.
How do we get the demon out? How do we get him out and keep him out? Read.
Submit yourselves therefore to God.
Right, we got to submit ourselves to the Lord, to the scriptures. Our eyes can't be on the booty. Our eyes got to be on the scriptures. Come on.
Resist the devil.
We got to do what?
Resist the devil.
And he'll do what?
And he will flee from you.
And he will flee. Now go back to 43. So we can visualize better like how he's fleeing, what he's doing. He's walking around trying to jump into somebody else. That's why Christ told Simon Peter, hey, Satan seeketh to have you. He wants to sift you as wheat.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
Read this.
Matthew chapter 12 verse 43.
Go ahead.
When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places seeking rest, and findeth none.
Come on.
Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept and garnished.
Come on.
Then goeth he, and taketh with himself 7 other spirits.
How many?
7 other spirits.
Come on.
More wicked than himself.
More wicked and stronger. So here comes that, what's it called? The season of temptation. Okay, so he come back with 7 more. Come on.
And they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
Right. The last state of that man is worse than the first because he fell this time and now he allowed these 7 stronger demons to possess him to the point where now he's not the same person. Now he's that field that has let the bushes grow, the thorns grow. Now he's unrecognizable. So we got to understand how dangerous sin is. Don't play with it because it can kill you. Okay, that's just like the brother, sister, y'all be in the world. For those who would smoke and drink, somebody lace your blunt with something. All right, some people, when they smoke, they never had issues. The first time somebody smoked, Bishop always bring out this example. First time somebody smoked, they lose their mind and never recover. I actually knew a girl I went to church with. Somebody slipped something in her drink. Like, she was decent before that. She was 17. Somebody slipped something in her drink. After that, she lost her mind, became a prostitute. Like, we would literally see her on the street corners, like, dead serious. So I know that firsthand. She was doing stuff she had no business doing. Somebody slipped something in the drink. She lost her mind. She was never right after that. All right, so just be mindful, brothers and sisters. From there, give me Luke 8 and 1, 1 and 2. All right, watch this. Speaking of those 7, watch this.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Come on.
And it came to pass afterward that he went through every city and village,
come on,
preaching and showing the glad tidings of the kingdom of God. And the 12 were with him, and certain women which had healed,
read it again.
And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits,
come on,
and infirmities. Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils.
Out of whom went what?
7 devils.
So, brothers and sisters, it is a chance at repentance, but understand how serious this is. This is spiritual warfare. This is real. All right? This ain't the Christian church. We're not playing games up in here. Okay? This is a life and death situation. All right? From there, give me Luke 10:17.
The book of Luke, chapter 10 and verse 17. And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name.
But understand, knowing the severity of it, we also got to know this part. The devils are subject to us. If we follow Christ, we can cast them out. All we have to do is resist the devil. That's how we're going to overcome, family. All right, from there, give me Matthew 17. Okay? Give me verse 14. Matthew 17, verse 14.
The book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 14.
Come on.
And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. and I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him.
Come on.
Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me.
Right. So you're seeing in one instance, the disciples said, hey, even the unclean spirits are subject to us. But right here, they didn't believe it right here. So showing you what, two instances. You can either be strong in the Lord and cast out these demons, or you could be weak in faith and let the demon ruin you. The choice is yours. But read on.
And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour.
Come on.
Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, why could not we cast him out?
Come on.
And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief.
Because of your what?
Unbelief.
Come on.
For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove. And nothing shall be impossible unto you.
And it says, nothing shall be impossible unto you. Come on.
Howbeit, this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting.
Hey, showing you what? Fear, having little faith, that's sin too. That's a demon too. That is a doubting demon, meaning what? You got to pray and fast. As Christ is showing that certain demons cannot leave unless it be for prayer and fasting. Guess what? Having little faith, being scared, being timid. Give me Proverbs 24:10. Okay? Understand, brothers and sisters, having little faith is also sin. Okay? But you have a chance to overcome and get yourself built up. Come on.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 10.
Come on.
If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small.
Read it again.
If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small.
It's Sirach 2:12. All right, Sirach chapter 2, verse 12. All right, brothers and sisters. So we gotta be more than conquerors. We gotta overcome. All right, watch this.
The book of Sirach, chapter 2, and verse 12. Woe be to fearful hearts.
It says what?
Woe be to fearful hearts.
It says destruction to the fearful hearts, showing you that is a demon in itself. Come on.
And faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways.
And the sinner that is double-minded. And Mark 4 and 40. All right? In Mark chapter 4, verse 40. Watch this.
The book of Mark, chapter 4, and verse 40.
Come on.
And he said unto them, why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith?
There it is. How is it that you have no faith? So, brothers and sisters, we got to understand we got control. All right? We got control. We got power because we follow Christ. But if you don't believe that, this Bible is going to be of no effect for you. All right? From there, let's go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 16. All right? So we went over lust. We went over demonic possession. All right, so brothers and sisters, let's make sure we govern ourselves accordingly to what came out today. Let's meditate and understand that we have power over our own destiny. Understand that. Don't play victim no more. Read what you got.
1 John chapter 2, verse 16.
Come on.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eye.
Come on.
And the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
But is of the world. And like we read in Matthew 12, Christ already came and subdued the good man in the house, which is Satan. This is his dominion. The world is Satan's playground, okay? From there, give me 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. I'm sorry, chapter 2, verse 22, all right? 2 Timothy 2 and 22. Watch this.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2 and verse 22.
Come on.
Flee also youthful lust.
Do what?
Flee also youthful lust.
Come on.
But follow righteousness.
Do what?
Follow righteousness.
Come on.
Faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart.
Right. With them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Sirach 18 and 30. All right, we got two more scriptures, then we out. All right, so brothers and sisters, I pray y'all got something from today's class. And I pray this strengthens each and every last one of us. All right, read this verse.
The book of Sirach, chapter 18 and verse 30.
Come on.
Go not after thy lust.
But do what?
But refrain thyself from thine appetite.
So it says, but refrain thyself from thine appetites. What is that talking about? Your lust. Your lust. Last scripture, Sirach 23 and verse 6.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23 and verse 6.
Come on.
Let not the greediness of the belly, nor lust of the flesh take hold of me. And give not over my servant into an impudent mind.
So that's what we pray, Father. We pray that you do not take your Holy Spirit away from us, that you strengthen us to overcome. And we thank you for the power you gave us over these unclean spirits. And with that, we say, Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example.